Hello and welcome to our programme. The European Parliament's plenary session dealt with important EU legislation on climate change and maritime policy, and also international issues such as Turkey's progress towards EU membership and the natural disasters in Burma and in China. Climate change is a global problem that requires global solutions. Last year, on the initiative of EPP-ED Chairman Joseph Daul, Parliament set up a committee to analyse the situation and propose concrete action. Thomas Bickel reports.
The worldwide reduction of CO2 is the greatest challenge in the years ahead. This is the main gist of the European Parliament's interim report on climate change, which was drafted by EPP-ED member Karl-Heinz Florenz. Greenhouse gas emissions have to be reduced by 25 to 40% below 1990 levels by the year 2020 if the rise in global warming is to be limited to 2 degrees Celsius. Karl-Heinz Florenz highlights the challenge.
What
is our main task? It's all about Europe to be powerful and to invent a new third industrial revolution. And it's about sustainability. Sustainability of products, of the social sphere, and of course the economy. This isn't a burden, but a great opportunity which we need to build further upon.
Das ist eine riesengroße Chance, die wir als eine Vision weiterentwickeln müssen.
The report calls for practical steps in everyday life to fight climate change. CO2 labelling of consumer products could help raise awareness, for example. EPP-ED Group Chairman Joseph Daul points out the main victims of climate change.
The regions most affected by climate change are the developing countries in Africa, Asia and Central and Latin America. We can see the environmental impact coming. The effects of climate change could become stronger and stronger, and that could lead to a new kind of refugee, not political refugees or economic migrants, but climatic refugees.
The Temporary Committee on Climate Change will continue its work and come up with practical proposals in a final report by the end of the year.
Europe needs to do more to protect the seas. A large majority of MEPs voted in favour of a new European maritime policy and urged the Commission to take the initiative.
Europe needs to do more to protect the seas. A large majority of MEPs voted in favour of a new European maritime policy and urged the Commission to take the initiative. The new maritime policy has to include measures to protect the environment and raise awareness for the significance of maritime policy, for example by establishing an annual Maritime Day. EPP-ED spokesman in the Transport Committee, Georg Jarzembowski, welcomes the report, but regrets that some of the proposed measures are not detailed enough, especially regarding air pollution from ships.
Concrete measures are missing. It is unclear which actors, such as ship owners, have to contribute to the fight against climate change and how they will be able to survive global competition. This includes measures to reduce sulfur and nitrogen oxides at sea, as well as measures in ports, such as the use of land energy. To be honest, I am a little disappointed. If the Commission says it will table proposals this autumn, then we will not be able to implement those before the end of this Parliament. Perhaps you can be a little bit quicker and get more drive.
The report, which was approved by 587 votes in favour with only 20 against, also calls for a better coordination for the protection of fishing and merchant vessels in international waters. These should be better protected by naval vessels against the risk of piracy.
The European Parliament's active role on the international scene was affirmed once again with the debates and resolutions on the recent natural disasters in Burma and in China. MEPs also adopted a report on Turkey's progress towards EU accession. Speaking in plenary, Ria Oomen-Ruijten said that Turkey has made progress over the last couple of years, but there are still fundamental reforms to be implemented.
Een justitieel apparaat behoort in een rechtsstaat onafhankelijk.
A judicial system in a rule of law should be independent and impartial. The new constitution is the only way for the Turkish government to reform the country, to secure the separation between the church and state and the rule of law, to win back the trust of the citizens. A broad involvement of all the social organisations in the constitutional process is important. For me, this means that consensus on the modernisation of Turkey is reached with all political parties, ethnic and religious minorities and social partners. This modernising must guarantee that the individual rights of citizens, civil liberties, will be brought in accordance with the European Convention of Human Rights.
In overeenstemming worden gebracht met het Europees Verdrag van de Rechten van de Mens.
The European Parliament has severely condemned the unwillingness of Burma's military junta to allow international aid to reach suffering Burmese people in areas devastated by the cyclone. Hartmut Nassauer, the group's spokesperson on the issue, put the emphasis on the role of the ASEAN organisation, of which Burma is a member.
Not too long ago, ASEAN adopted a new charter in which human rights were invoked explicitly and the guarantee of human rights. I would call on the ASEAN states, in the name of the good relations that they have with the European Parliament, to do their utmost to make sure that the Burmese military junta be convinced that they have to be allowed to help their population.
During the following debate on China, the mood in the plenary was quite different, as Parliament applauded the Chinese authorities' cooperation with the international community. EPP-ED spokesperson Georg Jarzembowski pointed out,
we welcome the fact that the Chinese authorities have moved quickly to try and do something about this, and we would like to thank the Chinese government for accepting international aid. We hope that they will do that in the future as well, and they will provide effective coordination. Also, we welcome the fact that the Chinese government on this occasion has provided very detailed reporting on what has happened to foreign media agencies. And we hope that the Chinese government, when it comes to the reconstruction work in the area, will also allow foreign reporting.
An extended version of the plenary session report can be found on our website, epp-ed.eu. This programme was brought to you by the press service of the EPP-ED Group, the largest political group in the European Parliament. See you again soon.